Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Bruce Leroy Caceres taking on Daniel Pineda. Alex Caceres 20-13 overall, 4-1 in his last 5 years, coming off the knockout win over Julian Erosa. Taking on Daniel Pineda, 28-14 overall, 2-1-2 in his last 5, coming off the submission win over Tucker Lutz. And this is an interesting matchup because Bruce Leroy at this point, tried and true vet, pretty young guy, but tons of experience, pretty good everywhere, striking solid. He's very durable. His wrestling and grappling are better than you would expect them to be. And he has a wealth of experience against pretty high-level opponents. He doesn't really have that raw power, although he did just get a knockout in his last fight over Julian Erosa, where he was a pretty big underdog. He's taking on Daniel Pineda. Daniel Pineda is a feast or famine guy. 100% finish rate on both sides of that coin. Very good wrestler. Solid grappling. Comes out very fast. Incredibly dangerous for about 3 minutes. He quickly fades, and then he can be finished shortly after. But that initial burst, he's powerful. He's dangerous. He can really make something happen. So Daniel Pineda, very, very dangerous guy in a matchup like this. But I got to go with Bruce Leroy here. The line is moving. He's becoming a bigger favorite, but most of that movement happened after Garam dropped because people were just looking for places to put their money. But it does worry me because Daniel Pineda is I keep saying the word dangerous, but he is. He can win the fight almost anywhere at any time, but it is only for a short period. And I think Caceres can weather that early storm, get past that, and then start to put some work in, get things going, and start to get it done. But it's a weird fight because we have Alex, who beat down a broken down Julian Erosa, right? Like that's his last, that's the fight he's coming off of that. He beat Kevin Kroom, who was never very good. And now he's taking on Elliott. He's taking on a very, very dangerous Daniel Pineda here. So I do worry there's some recency bias here with Alex Caceres, but I think he's going to get it done. I'm nervous about this one as well. Maybe I'm just a pussy. The crew softened me up.
You said it, not me. That was good. No, the last thing you said about Alex Caceres, I think nails it right on the head. Is the recency bias of Alex Caceres? Like, oh my God, he's coming off this knockout of Julian Erosa. We now know Julian Erosa's got a little bit chinny, and that was his first actually kind of real knockout since 2010. So let's pump the brakes on Alex Caceres coming in and just knocking people out. What he wants to do is kind of dance around, karate style, lunging with shots, but he wants to be on your back. He doesn't even necessarily want to kind of wrestle. He would just like to just kind of climb your back and be on your back and threaten submissions. And against a guy like Daniel Pineda, and the way that he looked in his last fight, I mean, he looked very sharp after the layoff in that fight. It looked like his cardio was better, landing great combinations, finding the chin of Tucker Lutz. Now, Tucker is a much different fighter than Alex Caceres. He's going to be a flat foot. He wants to grapple, so he's a little bit flat foot. He's going to be much easier to hit, but he was still landing good combinations and looking very sharp and precise against a guy like Tucker. And I think the biggest thing was the way that he was lighting up the front leg of Tucker in that fight. And if he brings in that same leg kick and starts lighting up the front leg of Alex, the side to side, the in and out movements will stop. The takedowns, which I don't think are great anyway, will be even worse. And I think Daniel Pineda can find a way to find the shot on Alex Caceres, and maybe he starts taking a desperate shot when he's hurt because Pineda has crazy power. 28 wins, 28 finishes, has never won a decision fight. I think he finds a way to put some power on Alex. Alex is going to need to get respect early in my mind, and I just don't see a way for him to really get that respect, and I think Pineda's kind of all over him with the power.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I'm glad you're not super high on the Caceres side because a lot of people are. Like I said, the line is widening, but a lot of that has to do with the Garam fight. Garam dropping. Garam was like most people's most confident pick. And there was money there. Once that fight dropped, people were just desperate. Well, now where do I put this money? So all of the favorites just became bigger favorites is what happened. That money just trickled down to other favorites. So I think it's sort of artificially moving because without the Garam fight dropping, I don't think this line moves the way it did. I think Alex wins. You're on the Pineda side. I think Alex just weathers that storm, and Pineda fades fast, which is his biggest issue.
He looked fine last fight.
I mean, you're right. Well, and like I said, the recency bias on Alex. Okay, he beat Julian Erosa, who has been knocked out since then, again, and Kevin Kroom. And Kevin Croom's just never been good. So it's those are his.
He's only finished in marriages.
So anyway,
that was a much cleaner joke than what you said.
Mine was very mean. And your fat ass dog. I can't believe we've been doing this 2 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Are you going to spend the $7,300 in DraftKings? I imagine it's a great underdog price.
I think it's pretty good value because maybe he gets tired and then, Bruce Leroy's able to climb his back and find a finish or something. But I think the first round and a half is going to be all Pineda, and he's a finisher, man. He's a finisher.
He's 100% a finish. He gets finished though too. He's finished a ton.
Right.
He's been to a decision 5 times, I think. Out of how many? 28 plus 10 is 38, and 14 is 42 fights.
42 fights.
I did it. 42 fights.
I did it first.
You were right there. So it's man. Tricky ass fucking card. First one back. Tricky as hell. WeOnPicks.com. $10 a month. Unlock all the picks, all the bets, and everything else you could ever imagine, including the line movement tracker, which I am updating as we're speaking. Jamie Malarkey, minus 400, which means his line movement went from minus 590 to minus 400. He is at a 79.67% probability. So that's the odds for him to win, almost 80%. And that line movement is plus 6.4%.
Oh, he's minus 280 now.
Okay, I'm not just going to sit here updating this sheet like an idiot.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, no shit.
Just pranked you.
Just you got. That's from?
Here we go. This is the tough we're trying to... Go ahead.
You got's from Entourage. Grow up, pussy.
Entourage. Michael Scott does that.
Oh, yeah.
Entourage.
Okay.